Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it's mailbag time. Remember, we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, where we answer all y'all's questions. So if anything changes from now until then, please don't get mad at me. Let's go to Natapai007. Hey, Mitch, will the Raiders trade Jacobs or Drake before the season for draft picks? What's the word on Ferrell or Abrams trade? If you were to ask me, out of all four of the players that you just mentioned, who has the highest probability of being traded, I would probably actually go with Kenyon Drake. And the reason is there's some teams out there, specifically like the New Orleans Saints, that they're a little bit worried about the future of somebody like Alvin Kamara. However, if a team offered the Raiders a fifth-round pick for Ferrell, I think they would do it. If somebody offered the Raiders a fourth-round pick for Abram, I believe they would do it. I don't want to trade Jacobs because, to me, he's the one player on this list that is clearly the best one on the roster. Yes, I disagree with some things with Jacobs. I believe it's going to be his final year, but Josh makes us a better team, and I want to win right now. What up, Haywood Pratt? 11 wins, signed Sheldon Richardson instead of Suh. I do love Sheldon Richardson a lot. He is a hell of a defensive player, and if you're watching this live, you're going to like the segment I got coming up here. But he's more of a run stopper, and I still think the Raiders do need another presence of being able to get after the quarterback. But, yeah, I'd be absolutely on board for Sheldon Richardson. What up, Madman? Are we confident in our offensive line? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 6 right now. Like, it's not great. It's not bad by any means, but it's also, I don't even know if it's good at this point. It's maybe slightly below average. Like, it has the upside. If Alex Leatherwood can put it together at right tackle, then you're going to be a lot more confident. Andre James, if he is exactly what he was at the end of the season, then you're going to be feeling good. If Dylan Parham can slot in as a guard, if Denzel Good can be healthy, Colton Miller's that dude. But to sit up here and say that I'm really confident in the offensive line, I think I'd be lying, and I think a lot of people watching would be lying as well. Everything Bagels 3. And the best bagels, let's be honest, that's in New York. I'll cancel that one. Kaepernick to the Raiders, when and is it going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen. I've been on the board that, to me, it doesn't make sense for the Raiders. From an on-the-field standpoint, from an off-the-field standpoint, I don't understand the logic of bringing Cap in. Now, if the Raiders decide to do it, that's going to be their decision. But I also think this. If you were going to do the Kaepernick move, I do have a feeling that it would have happened already. Though, if the Raiders sign Cap, the amount of money the team's going to make for a team that's cash short, especially in July and August, those preseason games, they might sell out preseason games if Kaepernick's the quarterback there. So think about it. All right, so how about this? Shout out to Sam for thinking this one on the fly. Should the Raiders sign Colin Kaepernick? Type that Y for yes, or you could type N for no. Super chat coming in from Brian Durant. Why is Drake on the trade block? I thought he would be a beast in a Josh system. I don't necessarily know if he's on the trade block. And when you see trade videos out there, it's more people trying to say, okay, this makes sense. The reason why Kenyon Drake could potentially be traded is because the Raiders, remember, they restructured his contract. So they did that. They took on void years. So he's only got 1 year left on his deal, but he's technically going to get paid by the Raiders over the next 4 years. On top of that, the Raiders went out and they signed Amir Abdullah. I like Drake more. They went out and they drafted Zamir White, 2 totally different running backs, with the Brandon Bolden signing. The Brandon Bolden signing is the guy that's going to compete with Kenyon. So, to me, I never liked the signing to begin with. Don't get me wrong, had a lot of fun, but that's why it would make sense for the Raiders to trade him. What up, Buddy Bear? Do you remember what your first jersey was? Mine was a Charles Woodson. It doesn't fit anymore, but I still have it. FKC Raiders. I don't remember. Well, my first Raiders jersey is Derek Carr, and to be honest, it's still the only Raiders jersey of a player that I own. I have created my own Raiders jerseys, based on my family. I'm about to get a Devontae Adams jersey. Still waiting for that one to come in the mail. But I believe my first Raiders jersey I ever had was Brett Favre. My dad bought me a Brett Favre Packers jersey, and I believe that was the first jersey I ever had, if my memory serves me correct. I'm trying to go back and think. I think it was a Brett Favre Packers jersey, but my dad and I, we used to do a lot of traveling, and we used to go all around trying to visit all these different cities and stuff, and there was a thing in Disney where you could sign up and catch footballs, and the people that were throwing the footballs were John Elway and Brett Favre. Not actually them, but the speed of the football coming out. And if you were able to catch the football, you got the jersey. And I don't know if they still do that, but my dad was able to catch Favre. He wasn't able to catch Elway's fastball, so that's how I got a Favre jersey. All right, we got Untouchable Raider 1960. There was an article that Carmen Brasillo called Tom Cable and talked for a while. Wonder what that was about. Also, Carr said, if we missed the playoffs, I failed in an interview. Yes, Carmen Brasillo did call Tom Cable, and I think he's just trying to see what he thinks about the offensive line. I think it's really as simple as that. And Carr's right. If you miss the playoffs after making the playoffs last year, it is a failed year. Simple, and it is as simple as that. So, hey, Raider Nation, I dare you to subscribe. I dare you to subscribe to the Raiders Report, and here's the thing. If you don't do the dare, I think you're a coward personally, but I dare you to subscribe to the Raiders Report because I encourage people to learn more. I encourage people to educate themselves about the silver and black, and here's the crazy thing. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. I'm not going to care, but I will say this. I checked out my analytics on YouTube. 40% of the people that are watching, that's a lie. 60% of the people watching my Raiders Report videos right now are unsubscribed. That is a mind-blowing number to me. So if you're one of those people, create a YouTube profile. If you watch the show all the time and you enjoy it, seriously, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Let's go to David. Is it true Suh is visiting Vegas? I don't have any information on Suh going to Vegas as it currently stands right now. I haven't gotten a text message about it, so I'm not 100% sure on that. I do know this. Raiders and the Vikings are the two teams the most interested right now. What up, Chad? Florentine, Mitch, what depth do we have behind Crosby and Jones if any one of these dudes go down? Nothing. Thoughts? In terms of depth, you're essentially hoping for Malcolm Koonce and Clelin Ferrell. Those are your depth pieces in terms of defensive ends, I would say. If you want to view those guys as more as edge rushers, Kyler Fackrell is more of an outside linebacker presence that you could be able to hopefully rely on a little bit. But in terms of overall defensive end depth, I don't really see the depth there. I know some people view this a little bit differently that I've seen on Twitter, but no, I don't think there's a lot of depth behind Jones and Crosby. What up, Bill Holloway? Could Suh be playing Minnesota and Raiders against each other? Yes. And that's part of the business, right? I mean, if you're an agent, you're going to pin Minnesota, Raiders up against each other, create a bidding war. It might get you an extra $1 million, but hey, I wouldn't mind an extra $1 million, if I'm being honest with y'all. Now, remember, I try to keep you guys up to date during the offseason. IG, Twitter. I also post about what the hell's going on in my normal day life. I post, pictures of my dad for Father's Day. I've been posting pictures of Chuck on my Instagram story, but I can't always make a video about everything that happens. But I will post on my IG story. I will post on Twitter everything that I see going on around the Raiders. So if you're interested in even knowing more, please hit me up. Give me a follow. Let's go to Raider Rogue. How much cap space do the Vikings have to sign Suh? The last time that I checked, I believe it was like $10 million. I got the hiccups. Hang on. I believe the last time I checked it was $10.9 million, which is half of what the Raiders have. And here's the thing, though. If I was Minnesota, I would try to do a better job of bringing back somebody like Sheldon. Richardson, they've also lost some DT talent in the past, but the Raiders have twice as much cap space as Minnesota does right now, which, not always is that big of a deal, right? Like, Minnesota can still make it happen, but he could make more money in Las Vegas. Even if the Raiders gave him the exact same amount of money, let's say $5 million in Vegas compared to $5 million in Minnesota, the state taxes, you make more money in Las Vegas, which gives the Raiders a big opportunity to go out and get players like that. What up, Gregory? How's Trayvon doing? Oh, wait, Trayvon Mullen's my cousin. That's crazy as hell. He wants to be a Raider. Heads up, Jonathan Abrams is a big boxing fan and called out the Paul brothers who would win. I mean, if Jonathan Abrams wants to box one of the Paul brothers, I would watch it. If you know Jonathan on a good enough level, I would box Jonathan Abrams for charity. I think that'd be a really fun event. I know I'd get my ass kicked, but guess what? I'd 100% be down. And then for Trayvon, I would say he wants to be a Raider. It's a good answer. And I think he understands that if he is a Raider, he can be a solid cornerback one and go forward. I want him to be healthy, but I guess I would tell your cousin to get healthy, get focused out there on the football field, and keep it going. Let's go to Roy Sanders. I saw your Marvin Jones trade idea video. What about Laviska Shenault? So I actually think Laviska Shenault trade is more likely than a Marvin Jones trade because to me, Marvin is one of the top 3 players on Jacksonville, and it's not technically my trade idea. It was Bleacher Reports. I just gave my analysis on it. But Laviska Shenault's a player who's probably like the 5th wide receiver on that depth chart at this point. I loved him when he was coming out of Colorado. Very versatile player. Added some special teams ability. Can also be a little bit of a Swiss Army knife, which I hate saying because I've said it the past few years for some dudes. But I think Laviska Shenault would be a player that would be cheaper. Not as good as Marvin Jones, but cheaper and could make some sense for the Raiders. But I'd also love Marvin Jones for a 5th-round pick. So, all right, Roy, since you're speaking of trades, how about this? I want you to name a player the Raiders should try to trade for because this is the part of the offseason that if a trade goes down, I get excited, and I love talking about trades. And at this point, if the Raiders make a trade, I'm going to go live. Like, that's how much I want content right now. It is the middle of June. I need content. Put it in my veins. I want the Raiders to make a trade, and if it's for anyone, I would love Daron Payne. I would love for the Raiders to trade for Daron Payne. But, hey, that's just me. We got Port St. Lucie. All right. Paul G has the Raiders. All right, so Paul Gutierrez has the Raiders cutting Amik Robertson. Thought he had a good minicamp. He did have a good minicamp. The issue is the Raiders are a lot more talented at this current juncture. And when you look at the entire roster from top to bottom, do you decide to keep more offensive linemen? Do you decide to keep extra defensive tackles? I would probably go with extra offensive linemen, extra defensive tackles at positions that are more question marks compared to corner. Yes, there's question marks at corner, but our top 5 corners, I would say, it's a pretty good unit from top to bottom. What up, Juice Head? How many just win babies Jacobs retires as a Raider? I'll say a half a just win baby because he's got it tattooed on him. And if I was Jacobs, you start your career with a team, maybe you go somewhere else, and then you come back, sign a 1-year deal, and retire as a Raider. But in terms of him, he's only on the Raiders for 1 more year, and then maybe in the future. I don't know, maybe in the future he comes back. I don't know. What up, One Shot 89? What's a bigger need, defensive or offensive lineman? So the entire defensive. I think you mean defensive tackle, defensive line. I would say at this current moment, defensive tackle is a bigger need. However, if Jonathan Hankins and Bilal Nichols are healthy, I'll still then go back to right tackle because right tackle to me is a scary, scary position. All right, y'all, if you made it this far in the video, type made it because then when I go back and look at the comments, I'll know who's made it this far in the video, and that way I can be like, that guy rides or dies with me, which I appreciate. Let's go to Madman Raider. Mitch, now that you are the Barcode Burger champion, I would like to see you challenge and beat Colton Miller. Let's go, Mitch. I mean, I'll say this. If anybody out there, any Raider player, wants to challenge me in an eating competition, if any Raiders podcaster, YouTuber, if you want to create something where we can raise money for a charity, I'm in. I'll also say this. I can eat a lot of food. I know sometimes people think that I'm going crazy when I drink. My stomach has always been able to expand. I don't know why, but I can fit a lot of liquid and food in my gut. It's just the truth. But if anyone wants to challenge me, I'm ready. But Colton looks like he could eat me. So we'll see what happens there. What up, Aaron? What up, bro? What about signing Dwayne Brown? See, Dwayne Brown is a left tackle. I don't see him converting to right tackle at this current moment in his career. Plus, on top of that, if you're somebody who is, 35, 36 years old, I don't know if it's a good business decision either. There's going to be a team out there that ends up paying Dwayne Brown something because he's a left tackle. What up, Bon Hell? Why not put Mitch as a safety and start over Abram? I don't know if this is a typo or if you legitimately thought me. I'm in good shape, and I am a good athlete for the normal person. I would be the worst athlete that's ever come across in the NFL. I know that Jonathan Abrams is not a good coverage safety, but he is 10 times the athlete and safety that I could ever be. And if I was a safety in the NFL, I wouldn't be able to do the Raiders sport and, drink the way I do. All right, let's go to Joe Gatlin, 1974. Will the Raiders sing any other free agents? I don't know. I still think Ndamukong Suh happens. And then I'm going to say another 1 or 2 names pops up here. If you haven't seen, Joe, I put out a video, the top 5 free agents that I would like the Raiders to go out and sign that I believe could compete for starting positions. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. I think you would like it. What up, Lucky? What's the word on Hobbs being a safety? There's no word on it. They're trying out players at all these different positions because it's more of a it speaks more volumes of how talented Nate Hobbs is, if anything. Like, they might try it out. First off, it was a typo. Well, the one thing I don't understand, though, is if Nate Hobbs was as good as what he was, which he was the best slot corner in the NFL last season. You go back and look at some numbers from PFF, best slot corner in the NFL. As a rookie, I don't see why you go away from that. That's a very valuable position in today's NFL. What up, Brian? Do you think Derek Carr has the most interceptions in his career because he may be trying to feed it to his stars too much? No, I don't see him having more interceptions this season. If he has more interceptions this season than he did last season, he had 14 last year. I mean, that would surprise me. Now, if the Raiders try to throw the ball a little bit more, then maybe. But even that, like, if Darren Waller stays healthy, if Hunter Renfrow stays healthy, Devontae Adams, with that offensive line, you better hope DC doesn't throw for more interceptions, or else there's going to be a lot of shit going down amongst the nation. What up, Daniel Caps? Mitch, Darrell Williams signed with the Pats, so he's off the board. It's the other one. It's the other one. It's not Darrell Williams, the offensive tackle. It's the other one. So it's not the same one. Not the same one. What up, Gary? The Steelers were in talks for trading for Pro Bowl tackle Tyron Smith. Should we pursue this so he can play right tackle? Tyron Smith, again, has been battling a lot of injuries, though he's played left tackle predominantly his entire career. It's the same thing. If I'm Tyron Smith, I want to go to a team that I can play left tackle. And a lot of the reason is you make a lot more money at left tackle. It's the blind side, and I don't think the Cowboys do it. I think it'd be a very dumb move for them personally, though I don't think the Cowboys are a very smartly run organization.